The content train has no brakes. Choo-choo, people. Hello, hello, hello. I am Jmulls of Jmulls Gaming. And 11.1 just came out, but apparently we have an update about 11.1.5 Nightfall, which is seemingly going to be the prelude leading into the next expansion, Midnight, with, 11.2 sprinkled in. I wasn't actually expecting information about this soon. Like, the raid just came online yesterday. But let's go over the website and see what 11.15 is all about. The 11.1.5 content update is making its way to the PTR public test realm and brings with it some new changes and additions that will roll out in the weeks after the release of the content update. Defend the Arathi in the Nightfall scenario. Players will take up arms beside a new faction, Flames Radiance, to defend the Arathi against the Sureki forces following the defeat of Queen Ansurek. This faction consists of volunteer militia, led veterans Thade Pyremaker and Milton Wildbrawn. As you rise through the ranks, you will earn up to 10 levels of renown and unlock new rewards. Alongside the Flames Radiance, players will be split between task forces within the Nightfall public scenario to clear the battlefield and push back the Sureki. You'll also be able to strike back against Sureki forces throughout Hollowfall and Ashkahet to continue to earn renown and rewards with additional quests and activities between the scenarios. Players can expect a variety of rewards for taking part in the scenario and quests, including new armor sets, a tablet that will update visually as you progress through the ranks of the Flames Radiance, weapons, a new color variation of the Delver's Dirigible, which is the mount you get for doing delves, and more. As your rank increases, you can also expect to earn buffs, which will help you become stronger while in Hollowfall and Ashkahet. This sounds eerily reminiscent, to me at least, like Thunder Isle back in Mists of Pandaria, where you had this, server-wide effort to make your way up to the Palace of Lei Shen for the big raid. If this is even similar to that, Thunder Isle is one of the most well-known and well-beloved, additional zone within an expansion of all time. If this is similar to that in overall feel and execution, this could be really dang good. It's something that entirely is dependent on the execution, though. Sounds like open-world content, and, that stuff is not normally that difficult in WoW nowadays. I say nowadays, but historically hasn't been that hard in a long time either. But I like the idea of the tablet updating visually. It's something we just need to actually see on PTR in terms of how this is executed. Dastardly duos. Me and my buddy, whenever we play a BR, later in the patch cycle, players will be able to experience a new 6-week event providing a variety of cosmetics, toys, and even some dungeon items based on the bosses you encounter. Vinny Sweets, showrunner and announcer, is promoting Dastardly duos where players can step up to take on animatronic versions of past bosses, gain power-ups, and strive for higher and higher scores. For bragging rights, you and your party will fight 2 or more bosses at a time to rack up your highest score. This sounds freaking cool. Also, as someone with psych brain rot, reminds me of American duos. There will be 3 hubs for Dastardly duos that players can visit, one in Stormwind, one in Orgrimmar, and one in Dornegal. While Vinny Sweets is running the show, you'll need to speak with Ziggy Marrow, to queue for the fight in the Dastardly Dome. A visit with Woden, the Troll's servant vendor, will also get you access over the weeks to some additional power-ups or items that can help you in the fight. In week 1, there will be 4 bosses available to fight, and each week thereafter, additional bosses will be added, up to a total of 10 total bosses to face. I wonder if you can solo this or not. Or if not, if you can pug it. Earning specific achievements will also provide additional game effects from them within the Dastardly duo. Earn points for kills, damage done, and much more. Rack up a high score with your party for bragging rights and see how far you can go. This is a really interesting concept. Will be entirely dependent on the scaling, but this is a really cool idea. Just essentially a boss rush mode, and combining multiple different bosses together because you're fighting 2 at a time. Just see what wacky crap can happen there. This could be really cool. Okay, Blizzard, okay, you might be cooking here. Now the thing I've been waiting for ever since they announced the roadmap. I loved Horrific Visions back in the day. One of my favorite pieces of content they've ever added to this game. Horrific Visions Revisited. Return to N'Zoth's corrupted versions of Stormwind and Orgrimmar. Complete objectives and take on the challenges within. As you make your way through these encounters, you'll need to maintain your sanity or ultimately fail. So is it just the old ones, just just scaled up again. You will be able to go it alone or create a party of allies to join you. Players will want to experience horrific visions alone or need an additional helping hand in their party will also be able to invite a construct of sorry dormy companion to join them. This follower will be able to tank DPS a heal and will not be affected by sanity. This sounds like they're using the technology from Delves with Bram Bronzebeard, who accompanies you and you can like kid him out there. Sounds like they're doing that for here. For players looking for a bigger challenge, you'll be able to activate higher difficulties of play for additional gear up to heroic difficulty items appropriate to your level. Horrific vision masks are also returning, including Mask of Pain, Mask of Dark Imagination, Mask of the Long Night, Mask of the Burned Bridge, and Mask of the Daredevil. 3 additional new masks will also be available to discover and conquer. For those who don't know or don't remember, the masks are essentially skulls from Halo, which are additional difficulty modifiers you can choose to toggle on if you find them. A new currency to collect becomes available to spend at the vendor for previous rewards, Displaced Corrupted Mementos. Players will be able to earn new rewards in Horrific Visions, such as mounts, toys, transmogs, weapon enchantments, and more. Whether you're playing a new max level alternate character or experiencing it for the first time, you can experience this content shortly after the launch of the 11.1.5 update. Shortly after the launch, so it's not on the launch, okay. And then finally, we have the UI update. We are implementing a new UI update which introduces a cooldown manager. This has been data mined for a while now, allowing players to better track class ability cooldowns. This additional functionality can be personalized through the edit mode within the UI. This is essentially taking some of the functionality of an add-on like weak auras and adding it natively into the game. This is one of my favorite trends that I've seen from Blizzard for a while at this point, and that is implementing new ideas into the UI and improving it, and not just resting on the laurels of the idea that you can just have the community fix your like crap UI with add-ons. I'm glad they're trying to implement some of these features into the baseline UI. While there are a lot of people out there that do utilize add-ons, not everyone does. It's not going to be a perfect fix, and I highly doubt this new cooldown manager, as they're calling it, will be as functional or powerful or flexible as something like weak auras. I don't view that to be an intrinsic problem though. Adding more functionality in the base UI is strictly a better thing most of the time for me. And I really want to see how they actually handle cooldown manager, how powerful it is, or if it's just really minimalistic. Like, I want to see the functionality that separates cooldown manager from just making a second hotbar and putting abilities there. That's what I want to see. I know some things got data mined. I'm gonna wait till we actually see it on the PTR. So yeah, 11.15 looks freaking packed. It is one of those updates that just going off the sound of it is entirely dependent on the actual execution and tuning. I think in concept, a lot of these things are rather cool. In terms of the overall story, this definitely feels as if we're now transitioning closer to 12.0 and away from 11.0, especially with the naming convention going on here. Nightfall, and then the next expansion being Midnight. We still have one major patch before that, though, which is 11.2. I was actually going to do my 11.1 full review and talk about the story that happened. Funnily enough, though, this just came out, so I'll do that tomorrow, but overall, I am quite liking 11.1x. And Nightfall sounds as if it could be really good if they nail the tuning and get the execution done correctly, because a lot of these ideas at least sound good and compelling. Revisiting Hollowfall and Ash Kahet and breathing new life into them this late into the expansion, good idea, I like that idea. Dastardly duos as a concept could be really dang good, and I'll be really interested to see what they actually mean by earning specific achievements within Dastardly duos will also provide additional game effects from them within the Dastardly duo. Really interested to see how the actual execution for a lot of these ideas will pan out. With the way they keep talking about bragging rights for Dastardly duos, I really hope that there's a leaderboard system that could be really cool. Like, let players in-game find out the best teams or the best players and what their builds were when they tackled this content. What bosses did they fight? Don't just have it be based on your region, have it be based on your server, or even your faction, stuff like that. Just an overall concept, this also seems to be inspired from the old Brawlers Guild. And while I'm sure it will be fundamentally different in a lot of ways, I think the core concept of just tackle these bosses, bro, could be really dang cool, especially if they are like beloved bosses of old, and having people just try and figure out how to like manage both of their mechanics going off at once. When it concerns Horrific Visions, the concept of the idea is really good. I really enjoyed Horrific Visions back when they were, well, relevant content, but but they were let down by being within BFA and having other BFA systems tied to them, just in terms of overall player power. I much prefer the state of the War Within, and if we're able to just focus on how good Horrific Visions are as a concept, be in this like almost roguelike environment within World of Warcraft that's not Torghast, the sanity mechanic can be really interesting to manage, picking your own route and where you want to go and how you want to specialize, what masks you utilize within this content can be really cool and fun, and I do hope they touch upon some of the fights and don't just regurgitate a lot of what came before, have new stuff with it. We already have new masks that can go a long way, as well as new rewards, and I really want to see how this new Construct of Domi companion operates within Horrific Visions. Will they have the flexibility of, say, Bran Bronzebeard from Delves, or will they be far more static in nature and just kind of serve as a buffer? Can we build them up? Can we kit them out? What can we do with them? There's still a lot of question marks in regards to 11.15, but I would say that I am optimistic about it. It sounds really good. We need to see how they execute it. I'm looking forward to it though. And it seems like rather meaty for a 0.15 patch, or just a .x5 patch in general. WoW's content cadence has been really enjoyable, I will say, as a returning player to this game. Always have something to look forward to in the near future, and I like having that feeling. And with that, I'll call the video there for the day. Thank you all for tuning in. My pleasure bringing the video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like and subscribe. It really helps the channel out and helps support future content, and I greatly appreciate it. Leave a comment down below with what you're looking forward to the most out of 11.15. Do you have any concerns, any issues, any things you're really looking forward to? I'd love to hear your thoughts, hear your opinions, and hear your perspectives. Stay safe, have a great day. I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again!